when the sports world came to a screeching halt, it was not only the athletes whose lives were put on pause. There are so many freelancers working behind the scenes to bring you the game that you watch on TV or read about in the paper. Well, no games means no paychecks for a lot of people. Enter longtime Associated Press writer Larry Lage out of Detroit, who has helped raise more than $30,000 for hundreds of workers in the sports and entertainment business.
This started on what would have been the first night of the NCAA tournament that Thursday night in mid-March. I went to bed praying for my freelance sports journalist friends who I knew would be hit hard by having no games, no assignments, no news conferences, no availabilities, as we say. And I woke up the next morning thinking about those same people, and I literally started to cry. So instead of just crying and worrying and waiting for someone else to help these people, I put $100 in a Facebook fundraiser and thought, with my friends, I'll raise a couple thousand, send $300-400 to a handful of people I'm thinking about in the Detroit area, and call it good. And it's become much larger than that. I just did not want to wait for someone else or the government to step up and help people that I knew needed help. And with the help of my friends and so many strangers, hundreds of people have donated to this fundraiser.
He did it so quickly. He started the fundraising and started reaching out to people. And yeah, it's been at least 2 months now since this has all come to fruition and has gotten so big, and the reach has been insane. I know Larry's a legend in his own right, but for the fact that he's been able to touch every corner of the U.S. Has been incredible.
It was really amazing. I mean, I've never met him in person, and for someone to reach out and say, hey, I know what you're going through, it really meant a lot. I mean, there's so much going on with people trying to get unemployment and you know, millions of us in a weird sense of limbo. And that was really a blessing that came right on time for me.
I know you said you got a little emotional a couple of times throughout this whole thing. What are the sort of responses that you're getting that are making you emotional?
Well, one I got from a woman who I didn't know from Eve 2 months ago, sent me a note of thanks and said, I can't tell you how much this means to me. I'm in a really tough spot. I got into sports because of my dad. He died, and his name was Larry.
My dad passed away when I was 16. He was in Vietnam, and long story short, passed away when I was in high school and was everything to me. He was my number one fan, my biggest supporter. And so when Larry reached out, you know, you don't know a lot of people named Larry. I don't anyway in my life. And I kind of felt like my dad was like, hey, I got you. Do not worry. You're going to be okay. You're going to make it. You know, this is a gesture that doesn't really seem like a ton, but for me, it's everything.
I've been battling stage 4 lymphoma for the last year, which is blood cancer. When you're going through times of struggle in life, whether on a personal level or what the nation is going through right now, you know, a lot of times you see people step up, and Larry certainly deserves a lot of credit.
It's been a perfect storm to do some good for a lot of people. And I'm just, you know, really so thankful that I will be able to look back at this time and say, you know, I did something, we did something. And hopefully people that have received the money or heard this story or seen this story or read about this story are inspired to do something themselves.